Good evening and a hearty welcome to Medical Mondays with Dr. O, your interactive platform where we share medical facts and health info related information for you to choose a better lifestyle. Medical Monday is not establishing a doctor-patient relationship, rather sharing relevant medical information from highly qualified practitioners and professionals for you to choose that better life. Remember our mantra, strong health, strong future. This evening, we will be discussing nutrition with intermittent fasting with one of our experts. Dr. Toyin Okwesami is a fellow of the American Academy of HIV Medicine, a family practitioner, CEO and medical director of Gennesaret Medical Center. And she's so passionate about Medical Mondays with Dr. O. Welcome, Dr. O.
Much, Honorable Gustav. Welcome. Tonight, we have an amazing session. It's nutrition, which is very important to all of us, to living well. But most importantly, this intermittent fasting that people have been talking about. Everybody is now doing intermittent fasting, but how should it be done? Which is the right way to do it? Because sometimes we do things and hurt ourselves because we don't know exactly the right way to do it. So we've been blessed with Dr. Babita Sandhu, who is board certified in lifestyle medicine and who will teach us the exact way to do intermittent fasting. I'm going to leave the complete introduction of Dr. Sandhu to her to introduce herself and take the floor.
Thank you, Dr. O. Thank you, Dr. O. To introduce myself, I'm Babita, and professionally, I'm a lifestyle medicine coach. And I have 2 kids, loving husband, 2 dogs, and life is blessed. And my whole goal going forward in life is to help people by teaching them about lifestyle and going back to basics, and basically trying to help them get off as many medications as they can, because all the chemicals that we are taking in, they are kind of messing up our metabolism and causing lots and lots of diseases. And medicines help also in other way, but 80% of the family visit we can avoid if we have the right lifestyle. Today, I'll be talking about intermittent fasting, which is very dear to me. And it is such an interesting topic. Recently, intermittent fasting has been like everywhere. Everyone is talking about intermittent fasting and they are raving about it. The main reason why a lot of people are attracted towards intermittent fasting is to lose weight. And it is amazing because you have to eat certain amount of time. You don't have to count calories. You don't have to worry about what you're eating. You just have certain hours and you eat and you're done. Is that the right way? No, but that's how it has been promoted, that you have certain hours in a day that you can eat. So, okay, I'm not eating for certain hours, but I can eat the food that I love in the given amount of time, which is actually causing a lot of damage to them. What is intermittent fasting? It's a very simple question. And the answer is super simple. Intermittent fasting is just periodic eating and fasting with scheduled time. That's it. Very basic, that you eat and you don't eat, and there's certain hours in a day that you can do that, and you don't have to worry about anything else. It has been promoted like a diet also. Is it a diet? Most of the diets that we know Whenever there's a word diet, there is restriction. Whenever there's restriction, we can do it for certain amount of time. It is not sustainable for a long time. And usually diets, they kind of fail because you cannot live day after day doing a diet and restricting yourself. Intermittent fasting is a lifestyle. As humans or as any animal on earth, intermittent fasting basically is the need of our body to put nutrition inside us. And it's just the most basic way of living, because back in the days, we were not eating all the time. There were times we would eat and then we did not have food, then we would go for the food again. But in modern time, food is available to us all the
I think she's frozen.
Yes, I think so too.
Good evening, Dr. Bill.
Good evening, Dr. O. How are you doing?
I thank you. She dropped off.
I still see her.
You are on the Medical Mondays with Dr. O. And this evening we're discussing nutrition with intermittent fasting. We're talking to a lifestyle coach, Dr. Babita Sandhu. Remember that we have other avenues for you to get to this program. It is on Facebook. It's also on YouTube, Medical Mondays with Dr. O. Do like the channel and subscribe so that whenever we go live, you can join us. It's Medical Mondays with Dr. O, your interactive program. And Dr. Babita Sandhu is there. You're muted, Dr. Sandhu.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. So what is the purpose? We were talking about why we eat food. What is the purpose of eating food? So we eat food. There is short-term benefits of eating food, and then there are long-term benefits of eating food. Short-term benefits are we eat food, we get energy, we do our day-to-day work, and we are done. Whatever extra energy is left, that is stored as fat. Long-term benefits are like when we eat food, all the extra energy that we get is stored, which we can use later when we need it. But the problem is because of our constant eating, we are storing way too much energy, more than we use, and that is all converted into fat, and which is leading to obesity. That's where intermittent fasting is very important, because when we restrict the time of eating, we are also restricting the amount of food we are taking in. And we are also restricting that energy being stored as fat. So now, what are the benefits of intermittent fasting? The biggest benefit, which most of the people see, is weight loss, which is very true. But there are so many benefits of intermittent fasting that we should be focusing on. It decreases heart diseases. It decreases risk of cancer. It decreases risk of Alzheimer, Parkinson. It reverses type 2 diabetes. It increases our immunity. It also helps us live longer, but not only longer, but healthier. And that is very important when we are doing, and the other benefits are, but these are the main ones which we are going to focus today. Then there are different types of intermittent fasting. I usually start with my patients with 12 hours of eating and 12 hours of not eating. Out of those 12 hours of not eating, 6 to 8 hours you are sleeping. Initially, my patients find it hard even to go hungry those 4 hours when they're not sleeping. It is really hard for them. But I always tell them to just, the transition should be very smooth. You cannot be like eating today, feasting, and then say, okay, from tomorrow I'm going to start intermittent fasting. Your body will go in shock. So the adaptation process is slow. So the first one is 12 by 12, which I always say that, okay, do that. The second one is, the most popular one is eating for 8 hours and not eating for 16 hours. That is the most popular one, very well liked by a lot of people. Once you get used to that, then comes 4 hours of eating and 20 hours of not eating. Doable? Yes. People like it? Yes, but only if you do it gradually. Then comes 1 meal a day. It sounds like very hard, like you cannot do that, but I have done it for like 3 months, and actually it saves me from a lot of cooking and lot of cleaning, and I really, really like that. After that comes alternate day eating, which for me was not hard, but then it feels like you have nothing to do in a day. You look forward to 1 meal at least. And then for health purposes, there is 1 day fasting, 2 day fasting, 3 and 5, as far as you can go. But that has to be done when you are already used to doing 1 meal a day or alternate day. Intermittent fasting is amazing because the basic concept is very easy, what it does and how it does.
Thank you.
The first thing that what happens is, when we eat, and what we are eating nowadays, a lot of processed food and a lot of sugar, that it increases our sugar level all the way to 300 when we eat, and the insulin is released. And once that sugar is all taken care of, the insulin comes down rapidly, and then it goes up and comes down. But then there comes a point when insulin cannot fall. Then that's where you develop type 2 diabetes. So intermittent fasting is really, really important because it lowers the insulin level and it keeps it at a lower level. Once insulin is lowered, the growth hormone is increased. And the whole purpose of growth hormone is that it helps in, it really helps in burning the fat that we have stored. Once the insulin is low, the growth hormone is high, there is a hormone called leptin, and leptin goes and gives us a signal that, hey, I'm hungry and I need food and I'm craving, and we eat again. But once insulin is low, growth hormone is high, with intermittent fasting, even leptin is lowered, so we don't have that craving. Once this is happening, our metabolic rate goes high. And over the time, our body adapts to eating the way we are eating, and the insulin level starts staying like, it spikes a little bit, about 120. The blood sugar will go 120, but it will not go more than that. So the insulin is really nice. We are not storing as much fat. We are utilizing all the fat that has been stored in our body. And the most amazing part is that with intermittent fasting, we burn fat, but we don't lose muscle. It spares the muscle. So you can go lean and you can even go muscular with intermittent fasting, but you won't have fat on your body. It depends how you want to do intermittent fasting, which way you go, but I recommend everyone to at least do 8 hours of eating and 16 hours of not eating. And that keeps them like, it is sustainable. Alternate days not sustainable. Longer period of time of fasting are not sustainable, but the most sustainable intermittent fasting is 8 hours of eating and 16 hours of not eating. But if the whole purpose is to lose weight, which a lot of people need to do that, or reverse type 2 diabetes, the best is 4 hours of eating and 20 hours of not eating, because the results are faster in that. Weight loss will be there, but to normalize the insulin, the best is 4 hours of eating and 20 hours of not eating. The another process which is very important in intermittent fasting is autophagy. Autophagy is just like vacuum cleaner going inside our body and cleaning it and recycling everything. And that is autophagy, basically it regulates what we need to keep and what we need to get rid of, and all the dead cells and everything that is in our body that needs to go out of it. And once we do that, our immunity increases. Also, the autophagy starts working somewhere around 12 to 14 hours of fasting. But if we can go a little bit more further to 18 hours, autophagy is tripled. And that's the reason when I said before, I recommend patients to try to reach the goal of eating 4 hours and not eating 20 hours, because the autophagy process is tripled and the benefits have tripled and the results will be faster and your body from inside will heal faster. So it is very, very important that we do that. In intermittent fasting, how we do that, like basically the food we eat are like building blocks for our body. And you can compare again it to a car. Like when you want your car to run perfectly, you want to put premium fuel, you want to put premium parts so that you can make what every dollar you have spent on that car and it runs smoothly. And it's like 100,000 miles, whatever you want from that. Same thing for with our body. The food we are putting in, they are the building blocks. Like they have amino acids, they have fatty acid, minerals, vitamins, and you want your body to be strong. So the food that we eat during intermittent fasting has to be nutritious. But the myth that is going around now is like when you do intermittent fasting, you can eat whatever. Like if I say 4 hours of eating and 20 hours of not eating, so they say, oh, we can eat whatever because it is okay. We are not eating 20 hours. But what we are eating is very, very important. One reason is that if we, during those eating window, if we are eating a lot of carbohydrates, lot of protein, then it is going to trigger the insulin again. And we are going to go back into the same cycle that you eat carbohydrates, it will raise blood sugar, it will raise insulin, the blood sugar is going to fall, you are going to have craving, and you are going to eat again. And when the excess of carbohydrate will be turned into the energy, it will be stored as fat again. So the best food to eat are all plant-based and whole foods. I do all plant-based, and I'm not vegan, but I do all plant-based. And they are, when you're fasting in the eating window, when you eat whole food, plant-based whole foods, you are full. Your body is nourished with such rich vitamins and minerals and proper amino acids and fatty acid. You actually don't feel hungry. Your body has adapted to eating that way, and there are no cravings left. So we don't feel like I need to have a donut, I need to have a candy bar, because internally we are satisfied because we got the right kind of fuel, and we don't need to put any more fuel because our insulin is staying where it's supposed to. It is not spiking and falling. So we are not in that cycle of eating again and again. When we eat empty calories, processed food, our body is never satisfied, and we are always hungry and we are always craving because the leptin is so high. It is always pushing us to eat more and more. It's a very vast topic, but I'm just giving you snippets of, every section. When we do fasting, the best way I like to tell my patients to break their fast is have a coffee bulletproof coffee. I don't know whether you know bulletproof coffee is just black coffee with a spoonful of coconut oil. When you do that and you're breaking your fast, you are drinking that coffee with oil, coconut oil. It is not spiking your insulin because it is zero carb, zero protein. It is very high fat, but good fat. So what it does, it doesn't spike your insulin right away. And you will not start eating suddenly like, I have to eat this, I have this much window. So you gradually eat food. So first you have that, then you have a big bowl of salad, which will give you a lot of fiber. And then you come to the part of protein, and we don't need to have that much protein. So we get good protein from lentils, from vegetables, and avocado is always our favorite, which we add there. I would not recommend when you break fast to go again and start eating processed food, because whatever benefit we had in past 16 hours, we are going to lose it again. And some of my patients, they have come back to me after intermittent fasting, complaining that instead of losing weight, they gained weight because of the amount of food they ate in that window. They like, if it is 4 hours, they think that they need to eat all 3 meals and 3 snacks and salad and sweets all condensed in 4-hour window. That's not how it works. There's a list of food, and again, it starts with fruits, berries, leafy green vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, then other vegetables, and then it comes to grains. And if one is trying to lose weight, I recommend to stay away from grains, replace grains with quinoa, because quinoa will make you full, but the carb content in quinoa is less than grains you're having. Intermittent fasting is amazing way to lose weight, but losing weight is just a byproduct of making your body healthy from inside. And that's the purpose of intermittent fasting, is keeping our organs, keeping our cells all healthy so that we can live longer, but healthy. And I think we will wrap up this thing and I can take questions, which will make more sense if I can answer any questions.
Thank you so much. You know, what fascinates me is the ability to change lifestyle and not treat, but reverse disease entities like diabetes. Diabetes is raging in the United States now. And I am still not clear about the intermittent fasting. I heard you say, fasting in grades, then building up to eating 4 hours a day or maybe once a day. And that's for people who want to lose weight. What about for people like me who don't need to lose another ounce, who actually need to put on maybe a little bit more?
Yes.
but still wants the benefit of intermittent fasting because it goes beyond weight loss.
For you, because you do not need to lose any weight, intermittent fasting is really, really good for you too. But I would not recommend you doing 1 meal a day or alternate day or even 420. I would recommend you to do 8 hours of eating and 16 hours of not eating. And the reason being, those 8 hours give you enough time to have 2 big meals and put snacks in between. You need to, the reason you're not gaining weight, I don't know your history right now. What is the reason behind you losing so much weight? There has to be something, like for me, I gained weight too much because my thyroid doesn't work properly. So it works really good for me. I don't know about you with the clinical history, but for you, intermittent fasting is really, really good, but 8 hours of eating and 16 hours of not eating. And it's not hard because Dr. O, you really need to sleep 8 to 9 hours with the work you do. So actually, it's not that much when you're not eating.
I was going to ask you that next, but the reason I'm not losing is just that I don't gain weight and I have to struggle to keep the weight on so I don't lose it. I have mad energy and I don't stop. I think that's why. High metabolism, high energy, that is God built in. So I have to work hard on, keeping what I have and not losing. So when you said that I should eat 8 hours a day, and I'm asking this for people like me on the forum and everywhere, what kinds of things would you recommend? Because you did say that for people who need to lose weight, they should not be eating too much veggies, I think you said.
Grains.
Okay.
Yeah.
So replace it with quinoa. Well,
yes.
I hardly ever eat grains. Maybe that's the problem. Or rice. I eat quinoa.
Quinoa is good too. Quinoa is high protein again. But I would recommend for you, like specifically for you, is starting your day with people who have already achieved their weight or they're trying to gain weight, big breakfast. Whatever time you're having that, it doesn't matter. And it has to be like really, really healthy. And I always recommend like a big bowl of oatmeal with steel cut oatmeal, nothing less than that, because that is the most unprocessed oatmeal you're going to get. I'm not in favor of any other oatmeal because they all are processed. So steel cut is minimally processed. So steel cut oatmeal with a lot of hemp seeds, chia seeds, pumpkin seeds, berries, fruits, walnuts, and
pecans, almonds.
Yeah, here you are getting good fats, you are getting grain, and you are getting berries and fruits, and it's a big bowl. It's not like my bowl is really big and then you're full. You automatically will not eat anything after for an hour and a half, and that is perfect for you because you are a high energy person and you need food because you spend so much time with high energy. You need food after every couple of hours, which gives you perfect window after having that oatmeal, coming and having your salad with a lot of veggies at that time, which will again give you a lot of nutrition. And believe me, hopefully if you do that, you will not lose weight. At least we can maintain it. And adding more avocado, which is like really, really good fat, and then adding a lot of beans in your food. Beans are again very good carb, and they're whole foods, good carb. They give you good energy, but they are also very filling, and they are like really, really, really good for you because you're getting like a lot of protein from them. And you eat quinoa, you don't eat grain, right?
Hardly ever.
Hardly ever. In grain, I'm not talking about wheat. I try to stay away from wheat, and I tell a lot of people to stay away from wheat, but I tell them to eat a lot of millets, like barley, foxtail millet. And there are so many recipes to cook that millet, and they're delicious. They're just delicious. And they are really good for you. So wheat, I'm never in favor of. And wheat has been modified so much that it's not the wheat that we used to eat. And there is it has been so much genetically modified that it's really not good for you. Whether it is like a whole wheat bread or a whole wheat tortilla, I go towards millets. And there are 21 different kinds of millets. And you can make basically anything that you want with those millets. So that's what I'm going to recommend you. And I hope I'll be able to help you maintain your weight at least and not lose that.
Thank you so much, Honorable Gustav.
Thank you. There's a question in the chat, and let me go quickly to it from Tawa. Says, is there a specific time for the 4 hours? And what are the plant-based food and whole food plants?
Yes, there is. It's a really good question because the perfect timing for 4 hours window is if it works with your schedule, with his or his, I don't know, Tawa, it's a girl or I don't know, anyway. If it works with your girl, if it works with her schedule, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. is 5 p.m. is the best time to break your fast. It's in the middle of the day. You eat that food. You don't want to go to sleep with your belly full. Plus, it's in the middle of the day, so you are not hungry later part of the day. And the beginning part of the day, you are so busy doing other work. So 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. is the best time of the day to have that 4 hours of eating. Food to eat, whole foods and plant-based, there are like 12 categories of food. The first one is very, very important, and it's on Dr. Greger's website, which is really, really important, a daily dozen. Berries. Strawberry is not a berry, so please don't count strawberry as a berry. It's a fruit. So berries are separate. Then there are fruits. Then there are vegetables like carrots, radish, beetroot. Then there are green leafy vegetables. Then there are cruciferous vegetables like cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli. Then you have, then you need to put spices. And I don't know how familiar everyone is with the spices. Spices is such an important part of eating plant-based, whole food plant-based diet because they're very bland otherwise. So if you use spices, it is really, really nice. Then the two things that are very important is vitamin B12 to all the plant-based people to eat vitamin B12. And for Floridians, vitamin D is not a problem, but everyone living, I think, North Carolina and up, vitamin D every day. And 8 to 10 glasses of water. And that is a lot. And again, you're trying to lose weight, no grain. If you are not trying to lose weight, then you can have your grain.
Okay. Is there a limit to water consumption during this fasting?
Not if you're eating just plant-based whole food. No processed food. It's a big no-no. No sugar and no processed food when you are doing intermittent fasting and you want to get healthier. So there is no limit to it because when you eat a lot of veggies and fruits, there is only so much you'll be able to eat. It's like I can go and have an orange juice, but I won't be able to eat 10 oranges. So there is no limit. But yes, the kind of food that you are eating is very important.
Thank you very much for sharing this great information. It's a very important information. Is intermittent fasting suitable for all ages?
Yes. Starting from kids, still 80, 90 is suitable for all ages, and it is also suitable for pregnant ladies also.
Thank you so much. You mentioned a certain doctor's website. Can you kindly repeat it?
Dr. Greger's.
Dr. Greger.
Dr. Greger is the person who kind of brought this plant-based whole food concept back into our lives. And he has I will forward you the website. It is nutritional.org. I think it's Dr. Greger. And he has 2 books that have been published, How Not to Die, and which is very, very good book. Everyone should buy. It's like a Bible for plant-based people. Yeah, nutrition.org.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. You know, something beautiful about all of this is that it takes 2 to 3 weeks to retrain one's stomach. It doesn't take long at all.
No. With intermittent fasting, it takes 3 to 6 weeks for some people to adapt. But once they adapt, it is very hard for them to go back to the way they were eating before that.
Fantastic. You know, there's a question here. This is a private chatted that's asked, is there a recommendation the quantity of fiber to be consumed in a day?
A quantity of fiber, there is no measurement of fiber, but the amount of food, no, there is no, like I can't give you that, like how much fiber you have to consume. But the list that I have given you, like the daily dozen foods that you have to eat and the amount of fruits and vegetables you will be eating, more the fiber, better it is for your body.
So there's another question, and I think you've answered this, but I'll ask it anyway. It says, we know that a complete protein involves beans and rice. Really? Rice is carbs, I think.
It used to be like beans.
Combination is a complete protein. The combination, not by itself.
Okay. Instead of rice, what would you put in its place?
Instead of rice, I would put either millets or quinoa. But I would still prefer to go with millets personally. So I don't eat rice at all. So I go with millets.
Thank you.
So,
thank you so much. Can intermittent fasting be complemented with the physical exercise?
Yes. Amazing question, because when you are working out while doing intermittent fasting, it helps to burn fat faster. So it kind of helps the body. And it is, again, you're not going to lose muscle, you're going to get leaner faster. And there's a myth that when you're doing intermittent fasting, you should not be working out, which is, again, not true. It just complements the intermittent fasting.
You know what? That is so true. You know, people have told me when they're here, I'm going to exercise, I exercise. They say, you don't need to exercise. You have no weight to lose. It's not about weight loss. It's about being healthy. You know, when you walk, it blesses your heart.
It does. And then you know, it increases the norepinephrine and endorphins, which is a good stress for our body, and it is good. You know, it's a happy hormone. So exercise is so important, and especially for and I tell everyone, especially for women, when they're going through after that, it is so work out. Even if you're walking for half an hour a day or 1 hour, just 20 minutes of walking, if you can introduce in your daily routine, it is just amazing, and it can do wonders to your body.
And also to decrease glucose, Dr. Ashby mentioned that after eating, because we all used to think you exercise before food, she actually recommends exercising after. You know, like 30 minutes after you eat, then do, even if it's 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes of walking or some sort of exercise. it brings down the blood sugar.
Yeah, and it doesn't, it brings down the blood sugar, but it doesn't drop it. You know, like when insulin when you eat, your blood sugar is high, your insulin is high. When you eat food, it will spike a little bit, not that much, to a level of 130 to 140. But if you work out 20 minutes after eating, the fall of the sugar is not going to be rapid. It is gradual, which is really, really good for your body. So I recommend after eating, like say, once you're done eating your final meal, after that, go for a 20-minute walk. You don't want to do too much exercise, but go for a walk, because that is really, really, really essential at, after you have your big meal. Just go for a walk. And then you want to do like really big workout, wait for an hour and then do your big workout.
Fantastic. Sister Tawas asked, what happens to medications that one has to take 3 times a day with food? Because if you're doing like the 4 hours of eating during the day and you have medication that needs to be taken with food, then what do you do?
If medication, see, if I'll give you an example of diabetes. If some people have to take their insulin or something related to diabetes, and you start doing intermittent fasting, there is a way that, okay, you are doing intermittent fasting and you are taking medication. You should not be fasting because you are taking that medicine. When you start fasting, you have to be together. Your physician needs to be on board with the patient that, okay, I'm going to do intermittent fasting. The insulin levels, insulin doses have to be adjusted according to the food intake. But for diabetes, they have to reduce it because the food intake has gone down. But with other medication, if they have to take 3 times, the 8-hour window is still doable. That's why the 8-hour window and 20-hour 16-hour fasting is so popular, because that way you can take your medication also and you can eat your food also. So not much adjustment is required there. Plus, another benefit is once you are on intermittent fasting for 3 weeks, when your body is adjusting and you're taking your medicines, slowly and steadily after 6 weeks or 8 weeks, your physician will reduce the dose of your medication if it is related to heart disease or to diabetes or the chronic reversible diseases. The doses will be adjusted because you will not need that much medication.
So,
go ahead, Dr.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
What would be your recommendation? Let's say someone goes a day or 2 without eating and now they are coming back to eat. What kind of food would you recommend that they start with?
The first, I said that bulletproof coffee with if you drink coffee. If you don't have to do that. But you can have tea. You can put like a 1 tablespoon of coconut oil in green tea or black tea or coffee. And that's how you break your fast, because it will give you a little bit of satisfaction of eating something because it's like so high in fat, but it will not interrupt your insulin. The insulin level will not go up. And then have some salad because they're lightweight. They're easily digestible. So or you can have soup, or you can have juice. I try to stay away from raw foods, but soups are a great way of coming back into slow and steady, because you don't want to put your digestive system under a lot of stress by eating regular food. So soups are a great way, and juices are a great way to come back, like vegetable juice, not too much fruit, because it will make you really, really gassy and your system is not going to do really well. So vegetable soup, salad, or juices, vegetable juice.
Thank you. Dr. O?
Dr. O, you're muted.
Doctor, I think you're muted.
Yes. So I put pen to paper and I'm coming back to me again. So if I eat 8 hours a day, it means that my last meal, because the other times I'm not eating, I want it to be part of when I sleep. And you don't naturally eat in sleep, so that makes it easy. So it means that my last meal will be around 4 p.m.
For 8 hours, I recommend to adjust your.
If I start at 8 in the morning.
If you're starting 8 in the morning, then calculate by 8 hours. Yeah, I think it will be like 5. But then start a little bit later. Say 10.
Somebody's laughing. It won't work for me. I'll figure it out.
and the interesting part is that yes, you are fasting, especially for you because you don't want to lose any weight. In intermittent fasting, you can still have coffee, you can still have tea, you can have apple cider vinegar, and if for you, because we are coming back to you, if you are drinking coffee, do you drink milk? No.
I don't, and I don't drink coffee either.
Do you drink tea?
I drink tea, yes.
Okay. Black tea?
Yes. No, so green tea. No,
green tea is also fine. Green tea is also good. Do you know the reason why why tea is so good for us?
I just enjoy it. I lived in Britain.
No, but it has a purpose, which I was amazed to when I found it. So when you know the endothelium starts breaking in the vessels after 40, right? And that is the time when we discover that, okay, we have this problem. Now we have this disease. We are always like after 40, they say like, oh, you start breaking down. Okay. So what tea does is when you drink tea, and especially green tea, and they say you drink more green tea, healthier you will be. Temporarily, it rebuilds that endothelium for a couple of hours, 2.5 hours. So that's why they say that you should have 8 to 10 cups of green tea, right? And that's what it does. And that's how it prevents you from getting sick because it is repairing inside the body.
It builds the endothelium.
Yeah, for short time, not for long, for very short time. It just repairs it a little bit so that there's just little bit, little by little by little by little. And that's why green tea is the healthiest form. Every tea does that, but green tea is the healthiest because it is the most unprocessed.
Wow. Okay.
Black tea is processed. Yes. So for you, because you do not want to lose weight, right? So if you add coconut oil, coconut milk cream, coconut cream creamer, it is available in stores. If you put that in your tea, it is giving you a little bit of fat in your tea, but it is not, again, spiking your insulin. You're not breaking your fast. People who drink milk, they can put a little bit of, what do you call that? Cream. Not milk, but cream, because cream is full fat. It is not going to spike your insulin. How do we break fast? The fast is broken when your insulin is rising. If we do not disturb insulin, your fast is not broken. So you can put coconut cream in your tea, which will give you energy. And every time, like you said, you have to eat in between because of, that's how it is and you don't want to lose weight. Every time you have your green tea, you can add a little bit of coconut cream to that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I have questions, but I'm going to hold it to see if I'll have opportunity to ask later. Abby, you have your hands raised. We have a few people with their hands raised, so I'm going to call on them. Abby,
Yes. Yes. Hi, good evening.
That's
good
my
evening,
daughter.
Hi. So I recently started intermittent fasting. A couple weeks ago, I've done 18-hour fast. I've done 24 hours and I didn't die, which is great. But I wanted to know if switching up the times kind of like messes up like the consistency for people who are trying to, lose weight. And also, could you kindly explain the whole ketosis thing? Because I've never really understood how that works and what it meant.
Ketosis, you're talking about in intermittent fasting?
That's right.
I lost you. Okay. Ketosis, when you're doing intermittent fasting, if you're, and I don't know whether you're a plant-based person or not.
I dabble.
Okay, because your body, if you are doing intermittent fasting and you are whole food plant-based, your body will never go into ketosis. Because in whole food plant-based, we are not in for body to go in ketosis, we are trying to limit our carbohydrates completely, and we try to focus more on eating fat and protein.
Right.
But the intermittent fasting with whole foods and plant-based diet, you will never go in ketosis.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, she says she's done 24-hour intermittent. That's no more intermittent fasting.
It
and,
is.
Different hours. What do you think?
It is. 24 hours is intermittent fasting. If she's doing for 24, because I said when you progress 8 hours of eating, 16 hours of not eating, then you go to 4 hours of eating, 20 hours of not eating, then you go to one meal a day. And then you go to alternate day. So when she did 24 hours, she went into alternate day fasting. She did not eat one day, she's eating the other day. But 24-hour fasting is not sustainable. Not because we are going to get hungry. That's not the reason. It takes the social aspect from that. Like if you're not eating, and even when you're at home, there is something missing. Whereas one meal a day, you still get to sit with your family and have one meal. But when you're not eating throughout, that one aspect of bonding is taken away. So it's not sustainable for a very long time. But I wanted to ask her, how did she feel after she did 24-hour fasting?
Oh, I was, I think the first time that I did the 24 hours, I was strangely energized. I wasn't hungry like I thought I would be. And it just kind of proved to me that I didn't need to eat as much as I was eating all the time, because your body really does not need that much food. You don't need to eat 3 times a day. You actually don't. And the moment that you start intermittent fasting, I think that that's one of the biggest lessons that you learn. You learn that you don't need to satisfy those cravings. Sometimes you're bored. Sometimes your body's just messing with you. Sometimes you're watching TV. A lot of times you have all these commercials on television, and they kind of like, plant these little ideas in your head. Like maybe you need a cookie because you just saw someone eating a cookie, or you saw someone eating a burger or whatever. Like they're just, propaganda, and they're just there to kind of like mess with your mind. So with the intermittent fasting and having such a structure that tells you, hey, listen, whatever you do at this time, you can't touch anything. You hear me? And you stick to that, and you just see that you don't die, and you're actually full. You drink water, you're fine. you can focus better, actually. I noticed that about myself. I'm able to focus better. I'm able to get more things done. So, so far, so good. I don't do the 24 hours all the time. I've done it like maybe 3 times. So you don't need to be scared about it being like a thing for me. I would never make that. I love food. But I just wanted to see, like, test my limits to see how far I could go. I could push my body. And don't get me wrong, whenever I'm hungry, I listen to my body and I eat.
Okay. Yeah. Don't do that. I think 24-hour fasting or even 2-day fasting is recommended only like a couple times of the year. You can do just to restart your metabolism again. But 8 hours again, unless you're losing weight, then you can do more. But 8 hours and 8:16 is the best way to go.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we have Ms. King. Can you unmute, please? So you can ask your question. Ms. King?
Oh, okay. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. My first time here. Thanks to my friend Lola.
Oh, welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you. So I'm a little confused because I have a real bad habit. I eat once a day and I literally go all day without eating, and I don't lose weight. I don't see the benefit of me not eating. So is there a difference between, because Dr. Friend had told me that, when you're not eating, when you're going all day without eating, it sends a message to your body that it's starvation. And so it holds on to whatever food you have, like it holds on to the fat. So I have a cup of coffee every morning, and I probably go till maybe about 2 o'clock, 2:30, and have a meal. And I have really bad indigestion, so I can't eat after hours. So if I come home, I probably drink a cup of tea. I am not the cookie kind of person. I am a meal. Give me a piece of chicken and some rice. That's what I eat. And, so I'm not sure how intermittent fasting works for me when I literally go without food for most of the day.
First of all, welcome here, and hopefully we'll be able to help you.
Thank you.
I need to ask you one question. When you are eating one meal a day, what do you eat?
So of course I'm African. I'm from Sierra Leone, so I cook. I don't eat fast food. I cannot tell you the last time I ate a burger out of any McDonald's. I don't eat that. I'll cook a meal, rice and chicken and whatever else, and eat fish that's in it. And I'll eat like a big meal. It's rice. I mean, recently I stopped eating rice. I started eating bulgur, just to see if that would help. But that's what I eat. I'll eat a big rice and chicken and fish and all that stuff in it.
Do you add vegetables there?
Do I add what?
Vegetables.
Yes, usually it's a vegetables. Well, the way we cook vegetable in African, if we have spinach, we kill it.
Okay.
Literally, it's literally dead. With no nutrients left. But yeah,
For how long have you been doing this?
Jesus Lord. I mean, it's just my pattern because I'm running in the morning. I mean, like on the weekends, probably I might eat a couple of meals, but on a regular basis, every day I eat one huge meal. And after I eat that meal, I am getting drowsy. I am tired, But I've done it for a very long time. I mean, I want to say at least 10, 12 years I've been on that pattern.
Okay. What I would suggest you is that, again, intermittent fasting is very different for different individuals. And since you are eating one big meal and you are having rice and chicken and fish and kale vegetables, Um, I would suggest for you to actually go back to 8 hours of eating and 16 hours of not eating. But instead of having a big meal, I would recommend you having 3 small meals. Uh, and that too, you will, if you can, restrict your chicken intake or fish intake to 1 meal. Personally, I would really prefer if you could just get away with it, but it is hard. You don't have to, but restrict that to 1 meal, and then making 1 meal of just salad, and then 1 meal of just like vegetables or some lentils, and do that for a month, and don't do 1 meal a day.
Okay.
Because what from what you are saying to me, and I have to connect with you one-on-one, I think, to help you. But in generalized form, what I can say is that you eat a very big meal towards later part of the day, and then you get drowsy, and I do not know how much of movement is left in later part of the day, whether you are just sitting after eating meal, or you're working in front of your computer. So what is happening is that whatever you are eating, it's a big meal towards the later part of the day. You are storing all that, and maybe calorie wise, it is exceeding your daily calories, even though you're eating 1 meal a day. It is packed with a lot of protein and a lot of fat. When you eat a lot of protein also, and even though you are eating rice, which is carbohydrate, you are eating a lot of protein with chicken and fish, it again spikes the insulin, and then fat is already there. So you are not utilizing the energy that has been released from that fuel that you have taken. So it is getting stored as fat, and we are not able to burn that fat. So for you, I would actually come back from 1 meal a day to 8 hours of eating, and then divide that one big meal. First do it half, and then divide that half into 3 parts, and bring in some salad and some soups into it. And a very say, if you are eating 1 chicken, 1 leg or 1 breast, or half a fish, to reducing that amount to whatever you're eating, that protein part, that chicken, fish, or whatever, reducing in the first month to 50%, and then slowly going down on that. And whatever you are reducing, replacing that with vegetables.
Thank you.
And believe me, when I'm telling you it will work, and I can feel your frustration, because it can be very frustrating when you are doing everything you have been asked and what intermittent fasting is offering you, but that is not working for you. So let's figure out another way of burning that fat.
Thank you.
If I may interject, thank you for that question, and don't be frustrated. See, in weight loss, even with the standard things we normally use, people get to a point where they plateau. And so they would have to do something else. We have to introduce something else to let them budge, and then they can start that, losing weight again. And this is your own point of bulging. But I wanted to suggest, if you can, maybe reduce the rice meals that you eat every day, and substitute quinoa and the millets. So maybe you can eat rice twice a week or so. You'll be surprised that just cook your quinoa the way you cook rice, and it tastes the same. It's the spices you put in it that it takes up. that you will be tasting when you eat it. So it's what you put in it that you get out. And we can talk offline, with suggestions of recipes and stuff like that. Dr. Ajagwe is not here. He's a Quinoa king. He has lots of recipes even online that you can emulate, and it's very easy to cook. Another thing is that exercise. It's important to change our diets, but exercise is important too. So maybe at the end of the day, like Dr. Sandhu, started suggesting, there's no more energy during the day. Get up, try maybe 3 times a week to start off with. And before you know it, if you don't have that exercise, look, you'll be so cranky, everyone at home will kick you out to go walk so that you can be friendlier to them. So if you can try 3 days a week first, and then, increase from there, 30 minutes a day, brisk walking in the evening after, all of those eating has been completed. Maybe, that would definitely help. So we'll be looking forward to you telling us on Medical Mondays how well you have done in maybe 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay, thank you.
Fantastic. And if you have any questions, Sister Lola will hook you up. Okay. So, Ms. Nana Fain, you have some questions in the chat box. So if you please ask them together with whatever you want to ask, that would be fantastic.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm actually calling from London, and unfortunately I joined this a bit late, but has always been very interested in intermittent fasting. Can I just ask, because there's this myth around breakfast is the first meal of the day and you should not miss it and stuff like this. How does it impact on intermittent fasting if I should sort of start my eating day from 1 p.m. with a window till 5? Where do I fix that myth of breakfast, or it's not really necessary?
1 p.m. would be your breakfast.
Okay.
And that is going to be the important meal of the day when you start it. So it is a myth that, and the meaning of breakfast is when you break your fast, fast. So whenever you break your fast, that is your breakfast.
Okay.
So if you want to start at 1 o'clock, that's when you will eat your breakfast. And breakfast doesn't have to be what breakfast has been made out to be, like typical, the breakfast typical, like pancakes or waffles or whatever. You can have savory breakfast. You can have actually sweet breakfast also. The only thing you have to do is you have to take out all the sugar and replace it with dates.
Okay, so and the very African in me, the African in me, can I start a 1 p.m. meal with a rice meal or like a lunch meal, as in my morning meal?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can. And as Dr. O said, that if you're looking to lose weight, please replace all your rice with either millet or with quinoa, because it will give you more nutrition and it will give you more satisfaction after a while, and you won't be taking empty calories in you. When you are on intermittent fasting, the biggest thing you have to notice is never take empty calories, because you are wasting your window of eating. Every meal you take, make sure that it is very, very nutritious. Like when you're eating vegetable, make sure that they are dark in color. Like don't choose potato, choose sweet potato. In cabbage, don't look at green cabbage, look at red cabbage. Look at beets. The colorful they are, more nutrition they give and more energy they give you. So make sure that during intermittent fasting, as it is your window is small, like 8 hours or 6 hours or 4 hours, make sure that you are absolutely having the most nutrition food you can find in every category, whether it is fruits or vegetables or grains or berries, the most nutritious one.
Okay, thank you.
Well, there's a question in the chat box on hibiscus tea. How effective is hibiscus tea?
Hibiscus tea is very soothing. And the recommendation from my side, and it is little bit of citrusy also. It has a very nice flavor, but it is very calming. And I like to drink it towards later part of the day, and especially before sleeping, because it is very, very calming. And it just calms the body, and it is very, very, again, it won't do the work what other tea does. When we were talking about endothelium repair, it won't do that, but it is just the calming tea for you.
What tea is it? What tea?
Hibiscus tea. Hibiscus tea.
Oh, hibiscus.
Hibiscus, yeah. That is interesting. You know, I do something, my green tea, sometimes I have 2-3 bags of tea in my morning tea. Green tea, hibiscus, I may add, moringa, and I would have the 3 bags in the teacup. I do that. What do you think?
And then you say that you have so much energy. Do you know that moringa tea, moringa powder is given basically to a lot of people who are out of energy, because it provides like instant energy. And moringa tree is the only tree, I think, in the world where every part of that tree is consumed. Every part. There's not a single part on that tree that you cannot eat, and it is so healthy for you. Every part of that tree. So yeah, and this is the reason for your energy, because of those 2-3 different bags. But hibiscus tea is more of relaxant than stimulant. And like green tea also has little caffeine, not that much. Black tea little bit more, coffee little bit more. So hibiscus tea is a relaxant than stimulant. So it is really good towards the end of the day.
And passion tea, I have to mention that. Passion tea, I actually suggest to patients who have anxiety to drink passion tea, or they have insomnia, can't sleep. I suggest they should, drink passion tea, close to bedtime. They sleep like baby. They live on it. And it's calming. Those with anxiety gets their anxieties resolved on passion tea.
There is another tea which is it's a process to make it, but it turmeric, cinnamon, and use honey, because it's not plant-based.
Can you repeat that?
Instead of that, I use
You froze for a minute. Can you repeat that?
Turmeric, cinnamon, and little bit of date in that. And it is so good. You drink that at night, within 10-15 minutes, you are done. You are sleeping. You don't want to be awake for anything.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. I had seen a question somebody had posted, that is peanut oil good?
Well, I don't know. We're not there yet.
Okay.
Ms. Tower asked, is it true that drinking too much tea demineralizes our bone?
No, not green tea.
Okay.
And not black tea also, because green tea and black tea are very similar, but black tea is a little bit more processed than green tea. Mm-hmm. They do the same work, and caffeine is a little bit more in black tea, but no.
Great, thank you. Dr. Moses Ademola asked, how long can one remain on water-only fasting?
Water-only fasting, I have done up to 3 days, but I would not suggest. I don't have that authority because I need to see the person's history and their chart and their medication. So I would suggest to talk to the physician before they do it. But 3 days is doable. I have done it 3 days, but not more than that.
Fantastic. Teresa Finn, I think that's a sister from London, I think. She said, vegetables are not necessarily for weight loss, or else the elephant will be skinny. And she says, carb counting of the plant-based diet helps.
A carb counting, okay, let's take first the carb counting. Again, the consumption of vegetable, and this question is specifically for vegetables, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
For
Carb counting?
Plant-based diet.
Okay, plant-based diet.
Yeah.
Let's take first vegetables. For vegetables, you really don't need to be focused on carb counting, because you'll have to eat a lot of vegetables for carb counting, other than potato. Like, I would tell everyone to refrain from white potato. It does not have that much nutritional value. Instead, go to sweet potato. Then carb counting is essential when you are not counting. Just be aware when you're eating lentils and chickpeas and red kidney beans, even though they are very, very healthy, but large amount of lentils and beans are not, maybe just 2 serving a day, medium-sized bowl. That's the only carb counting you have to do, be aware of. And then just replacing
Our internet is unstable.
Yes, she's frozen again.
Yeah.
None of my patients, because it's, wait, I think I lost you there.
Yes, your
Still here?
internet
No, we
is
have you.
unstable, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm good.
Okay.
Or maybe I'm, 1 second.
We actually hear
So-
you better without the earpiece.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. So because for carbs in vegetables, you
Yeah.
So, critical. Let me see. There was a question that was addressed to me specifically, if I can find it. I may answer that question while Dr. Sandhu's Wi-Fi is being fixed. I lost her.
Yeah, she's gone.
Okay. There's a question that says, was addressed to me. Okay. So this says, what is your advice? It wasn't addressed to me. I thought it was Dr. O. It says, what is your advice to individuals who, for spiritual uplifting and worship, do fasting for a day or for a week or for a couple of weeks to do when this fasting period is over? The question is not very clear, but it seems like when people have fasted for an extended period of time, I think the question is asking, what should they do when it's over? Honorable Gustav, I couldn't find you all this time.
I am right here.
Do you think
When
that's
they
what the
wanna
question
break-
is asking?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question is after the fast.
After the fast.
Yes.
So
when it's
after
over,
the-
what do you do?
After the fast, what I would suggest is that they should go back to the type of intermittent fasting that is suitable to them, that they, go back to their lifestyle. That would be my suggestion. I think Dr. Sandhu is back. I think you're muted. We can't hear you. Yeah, you're muted. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, first of all, in that question, it is not clear that whether that religious fasting or spiritual fasting, how they are doing that fasting. It is a water fasting or juice fasting, or they are eating something during the day. But if they have done fasting for 10 days, then once they come back, again, it has to be very gradual. They cannot go to their whatever lifestyle they were doing before fasting, because your digestive system is not the way it used to be before you started fasting. So the foods that have to be introduced have to be kind of like, as I said before, with soups or with juices, and slowly introduce the solid food. And so that you don't get upset stomach and then you get sick, So gradual introduction of food is the best way to go.
Is peanut oil good?
No. It is very processed with a lot of omega-6s in that.
Oh my gosh. Have you ever used it to fry turkey?
And it increases the inflammation in the body.
Oh, wow.
The only two oil I suggest people, the only two oils I use and I suggest, one is avocado oil, because of it can sustain very high temperature up to 500 degrees. So if you have to cook with something, that would be avocado oil. The three oils, actually, you can use coconut oil also, but coconut oil, a lot of people.
Kindly mute.
I'm sorry
Kindly
about that.
mute your phone.
I'm trying to mute.
Kindly mute. I'm trying to find you.
So coconut oil, a lot of people, it has a taste. Coconut oil has a taste of coconut, so it doesn't go with a lot of cooking. So avocado oil and olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. So when you are cooking, use avocado oil, and when you want to put it on salads or something else, use olive oil.
So, question for that, the question I wanted to ask that I said I'll hold on to is the coconut cream creamer. Does it increase cholesterol? Because coconut oil. Okay, cool.
No, because you are doctor, you are talking about 6 teas a day, and you're talking about like half a teaspoon of coconut cream in that. So no, it won't.
Okay. So Dr. Bill said it's critical to make sure all our meals are providing the necessary nutrients. The quality of the foods is also very important. And Dr. Craig says there is a website called God's Pharmacy, speaks of the value of the color of vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Hibiscus plant is very rich in vitamin C. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So a question says, where is the best source for moringa tea and others? I get them from a Giant has it every once in a while, but not often. But we have those specialized food places where you get organic foods. Where
yes.
People live in Maryland will be familiar with Roots. There's one by my house, and oh my gosh, it has spoiled me rotten because I can get almost anything from there.
I think Whole Foods has it.
Okay.
Whole Foods, if you have Richards near you, Richards carries moringa in every form. Usually, I just buy moringa powder, and I use that into my smoothies and I just put like 1 tablespoon into my smoothie, and I'm done with like moringa intake. But if you have to get TT, Richards in Florida, Whole Foods carry it, and Richards carries it. Then there's matcha tea also. If somebody likes taste for matcha tea is also good for health. But I didn't pick up on the taste, so I stayed with my black tea and green tea.
Fantastic. So do you advise over-the-counter vitamins? A questioner.
I don't actually advise any vitamins, except for vitamin B12 and vitamin D.
And
Because
vitamin C?
Vitamin C also, eat pomegranate, eat watermelon, eat cantaloupe. Watermelon has higher vitamin C than even orange. So vitamin C nowadays, because of COVID, a lot of people are taking vitamin C, zinc. But the only if we are eating the food we are supposed to eat, all the vegetables and the fruits and the berries and the green leafy vegetables and cruciferous vegetables, are the vitamin need for our body and the mineral need for our body is all satisfied with that. Plus, the vitamin supplements, they do not give you the type of vitamin, say vitamin C or vitamin B, what you'll get from the food. The absorption rate is very different. So I recommend eating. Initially it is little work because you have to figure out, how to get everything in our bodies, like this much. But after a while you get used to it. I don't suggest any vitamin if you are eating whole plant-based food, but if not, then I don't know. I have not recommended anyone any vitamins.
There's actually research out there that have suggested that we don't use vitamins.
Yes.
There are researches out there. So that is not recommended for the person who asked that. So, Honorable, is he around?
All right. There is a hand. Is it a hand raise? No hand raise. So it's time for our medical Monday moments of inspiration. And so I will call on Dr. O to come through with medical Monday magical or moment of inspiration, I should say.
Thank you so much. Before we go to the moment of inspiration, I just want to call on our big brother, father, our naturopathic guru, Dr. Mike Oye. So give us some word of wisdom and, from he's a world-renowned naturopathic doctor who teaches all around the world.
Well, Dr. O, I have enjoyed this session very, very, very much. And I want to thank the presenter. She's been wonderful. I followed every step of her presentation. She's very balanced and she speaks according to what she practices. I've really gained a lot and I'm encouraged even in my work by what he has said. She mentioned something along the line, particularly in answering that woman who is a bit frustrated about fasting and not losing weight. The method of withdrawal from orthodox medicine, that's from chemicals, that method she mentioned was very good. Gradual withdrawal from those things. And that is the thing I use to help people to get off many medications so that their food may become their medicine. What you eat is your medicine. And I want to give the testimony that for many, many years, I have depended on food as my medicine. Actually, I started from the age of 19, and now I am getting to 83. Let me tell you, I'm physically very fit.
Mhm.
I can do whatever somebody who is 40 can do.
Yeah.
And I really recommend that what we have gained from our presenter should be put into practice. She's very experienced and she has exposed us to many natural things that will help us. America particularly is full of dangerous chemicals and processed foods. And many people are getting sick and dying prematurely because of these things. We need to gain wisdom from what people have experienced. Thank you very much. This has been a wonderful session. God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir. Much appreciated. So on our forum tonight, I saw one of our powerful delegates, Andrea Harrison. I think she just maybe dropped off. I also see Commissioner.
I'm here.
Oh,
I've been
yes.
listening.
I want to tell on you. You remember when she came on and we talked about a farm? She mentioned that she has a farm. She actually has a farm in Maryland, in Prince George's County, where she grows peppers, vegetables, and the likes. And I said she has to bring me some. She actually brought me some to the office that I enjoyed. You know, organic food is doable. She's planting, and I enjoy every bit of it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you. Did you enjoy the intermittent fasting lecture tonight?
I did. You know, I've often tried. Well, I don't know if often is the right word, but I have tried on occasion the intermittent fasting. And you know, outside of, you know, just the regular sleeping. So, and I'm still working on it, and I'm still working on building a diet of whole foods and not and trying very hard not to do the process. But it is a process. It's relearning. And so I'm working through it. I'm working through it. I was glad to hear this particular message tonight. And so, you know, it continues to inspire me, and I'll continue to work towards the goal.
Thank you so, so much. You inspire me too in many ways, and you know that. Thank you for all you do for our communities. But guess what? Next week we have a treat. We bring in Dr. Sandhu back to come cook for us and teach us how to cook some of these things. Dr. Sandhu, am I right?
Yes, you know, every session I have, and with my patients also, I can give them knowledge. I can tell them all, you know, fancy words, and you can do this, you can do that, this many hours. But the moral of the story is that till the time food doesn't taste good, nobody's going to follow anything. So my whole purpose with my patient is, when I tell them to do something, I have to figure out a way to make that food tasty and they can learn, because that's the only way it is going to be sustainable for a longer time. And I tell them, don't build your life around food, build food around your life. So it's the opposite circle. So when you are building your life around food, all you think about food. And when you're bringing food around your life, then you dictate food, where we can have it. And once we have a cooking session, most of you will realize how easy and delicious plant-based food is, and how easy it is just to move away from animal food. And a lot of people don't miss it. But again, it's a process. It won't happen in a day. It's a process. So slow reduction in animal fat and, slow increase of plant-based food. But we will cook, definitely. And let's see, I don't know how many people are familiar with lentils. We can always start with lentils.
So any comments from the audience on that? Do you have something other than lentils you would like Dr. Sandhu to come prepare for us live next week so we can learn how to actually start doing these things? And, some of us want to do, but don't even know how to cook it.
Yes.
Anything else you would like? The forum is open.
Can you mix it with garbanzos?
Of course.
Thank you.
Ooh, I love garbanzos. Anything else?
I would be interested in learning more about millet. That's something that I don't know much about. I have a typical American diet. And so, as I said, everything is a relearning process. And I didn't realize that that I just don't know anything about it. So I would like to learn more.
Can I learn more about quinoa as well? Quinoa, cooking of quinoa to sort of make it spicy.
Oh,
Talking about the herbs.
They are all very easy. And yeah, so we can start with, instead of doing lentils, we can do garbanzo beans. And with that, to go with garbanzo bean, we can have either quinoa or millet. Pick either one. And I would like to suggest everyone, before we do that, please buy, and I'm going to send Dr. O the list of ingredients that you would need so that you can cook with me.
Good.
If you have all the ingredients with you and you see me cooking, the best way to learn is that if you cook with me, and it doesn't take that long. The cooking session would be somewhere around 30 minutes. And I think that's it. And you'll have your meal ready for the night.
Cool. Or for lunch or breakfast the next day.
Yeah. Yeah. Whenever you want to eat, but it is easier. And I think that is the kind of roadblock for people who transition from to plant-based diet is most of them, they do not know how to cook stuff which tastes good and they can do fast. And because after a long day of work, nobody wants to spend so much time in kitchen. And my focus is to make the time spent cooking, between 20 to 30 minutes. I don't like to cook more than that. And hopefully I can, help everyone next Monday.
Yes, thank you so much. Somebody is asking if they should send their emails to me. Kehinde, do you get emails from me already or not?
Me?
No, Kehinde.
Oh.
Somebody called Kehinde in there said, no, you don't. So kindly text me your email, private chat me your email, so I can include you in the email list. Fantastic. I got yours, Nana. I got your phone number.
Thank you. Thank you.
So text me your email address. Fantastic. So I would include you. So, Medical Mondays moment. On Medical Mondays, if you bring 10 or more guests, we actually give you a gift. And this week, the Ajay are the ones who they always bring 10 or more guests. So our gift this week, which is an Amazon gift card, will be going to Dr. Ephraim and Hannah Ajay. So
Thank you, Auntie Tony. God bless you.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Thank you. I've been giving gifts to people all around just because you said you're giving it to us every week. Well, we're challenging everyone else. Bring 10 or more guests and email me. Let me know so that you can be the Medical Mondays Award winner. And thank you all for people who are putting their emails in here. If I don't have your email already, I will add it. So that you can get the list of, you can be getting my emails and also the list of what we'll be cooking next week. We will come to the time where we will learn what is it called again? The planting inside the house, hydroponics.
Hydroponic.
Hydroponic.
Exactly, hydroponic, where you plant your food stuff in the house. Our sister, Andrea Harrison, has her own farm. We can maybe have a mini something in the house, especially where the weather is cold. And for winter now, Andrea, you cannot plant during the winter, right? Or is it, one of those indoor type place that you have?
No, I don't do any planting in the winter. I'm going to try and do a few things. I have a little greenhouse inside. I don't know how successful I'll be because, for 3 months, I'm basically not here to maintain it. So, I may just be stuck with spring, summer, and fall.
Well, thank you again for the veggies. So
you're welcome.
Dr. Sandhu, do you have some concluding statements for us?
No, just that I would love everybody who was here today to come back next Monday and learn some cooking. My favorite part.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sandhu, and all the experts for that wonderful interaction with her. We always learn new things whenever we come here. And so make a date, join us same time next week. But before we do that, Dr. O, your special day is on the way. Soon it will be your birthday. So if you can all join me, sing a happy birthday to Dr. O in advance.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy
birthday
birthday
to you.
to you.